This right here is a Dutch YouTuber named Sayas, who in January of 2024 uploaded a video titled "The Night I Will Never Forget" on his channel Sen Sayas. His YouTube channel focuses on urban exploration, and he often documents his adventures in abandoned places throughout the Netherlands. In this particular video, Sayas, along with two of his friends, set out to investigate an abandoned campsite located deep within a forest. The video begins with the explorers driving into the woods to locate the abandoned campsite. After parking their car outside the forest, the explorers go inside the woods, where they quickly encounter signs warning them to leave. One sign indicates that the area is private property, while another sign warns them to beware of the watchdog. As they debated whether to go inside or leave, they suddenly heard a mysterious noise coming from the woods. One of the explorers called out, but he unfortunately didn't get any response. At that moment, they also heard a dog barking aggressively at something or someone. Concerned about the possibility of being chased or attacked by the dog, they cautiously looked in the direction of the barking, but they eventually built up the courage to continue with their exploration. However, little did the explorers know that the dog would be the least of their concerns. As they were making their way into the campsite, they suddenly heard a woman screaming nearby, and this is when things took a turn for the worse for the three explorers.
Hallo?
Ja, ik hoor, hoort je het? Die deur. Ik hoorde zo...
Nee, dat is een beest.
Zeker?
Ja.
Oh,
nee.
Waar is dat?
Dat was een deur.
Dat is een deur, hè?
Hallo?
Ik kan de wind ook gaan, ja. Ik hoor van alles hier. Dit is zo fucking eng.
Hallo? Mogen wij hier binnenkomen?
Dit is zo creepy, maat. Dit is zo creepy, what the fuck? Ja, hoor, daar is. Dat is daar rechts. Daar ziet je een hutje. Dit hier, dat is een soort van hutje en daar staat een fiets bij. Ja, gewoon een wandelpad te zijn, dus hier kunnen wij wandelen. Wat rijdt hier?
Auto's en autobanden.
Autobanden. Dit hier is afgezet. Ik ga toch eens kijken, want hier staat in de verte een bungalow. Maar hier hangt letterlijk een bord met verboden toegang, privaat en camerabewaking. Kijk eens aan. Oh manneke, dit is sketchy. Fuck, what the fuck? What the fuck? Oh. Dat is toch niet mijn auto of zo, hè? Kom gewoon verder. What the fuck is dit, kerel? Ja, die komt naar hier. Kom naar hier. Blijf gewoon hier. Lamp aan of niet? Hallo? 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 What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh! Wat? Kom. 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 What the fuck is dit?
It's evident that a woman holding an axe suddenly appears out of nowhere. When the explorers noticed her and they politely called her out, the woman, without speaking a single word, began chasing after them. Terrified for their lives, the trio immediately ran back towards their car. The woman, however, wasn't satisfied with just scaring them off and pursued them relentlessly all the way to their car. Disturbed by this bizarre encounter, one of the explorers eventually called the police.
Ik heb de politie gebeld. What the fuck is dit? Ja, ik ben het. Ja, is goed. Ja. Jij ook blijven?
Maar dit is gewoon... Hé, niet kallen!
Mevrouw, het is de laatste keer.
Nee, dat kan ik niet doen. Dat kan ik niet doen. Nee, gedaan. Nu is het gedaan, ja?
Pak die lamp.
Even after the police arrived, the woman continued to cause trouble, firmly believing she had done nothing wrong. Nevertheless, the police managed to get a hold of her and ultimately arrested her. It's worth noting that during the chase, the trio had separated, and one of the explorers hid behind a tree while waiting for his friends and the police, witnessing the woman removing and hiding their license plate, forcing the explorers to confront her again. It remains unclear whether the forest belonged to her and she was chasing them off for trespassing, or she was just a strange woman wandering the woods with an axe. Her behavior that night suggested she might have been mentally unstable and possibly dealing with serious issues. Fortunately for the explorers, they managed to safely run away from the woman and didn't sustain any physical injuries during this bizarre encounter. However, Sayas later revealed that the experience had a profound negative impact on him and his friends, leaving them deeply traumatized.
24 hours, I think, to... What are you looking at? You keep freaking me out, dog. There's no one over there. Have you seen someone? I'm not.
In May of 2018, a British YouTuber named CJ uploaded a very bizarre video titled "Fixing My Fridge in a Haunted Forest" on his channel Project Amber. CJ's channel primarily documents his travels and camping experiences across Europe as he travels out of his camper van. What sets his channel apart from other exploration channels is his dog named Lance. CJ always brings Lance along wherever he goes, and the two of them never travel without one another. His videos typically highlight the beauty of nature and have a relaxed and pleasant vibe to them. However, in this particular video, that was far from the truth. In the video, CJ was driving through the French countryside in his camper van when he noticed that his mini fridge was not working. He immediately pulled over to fix it. The spot where he stopped was in the middle of a rural forest, with no one else in sight for many miles. As CJ stepped out of the van to fix the fridge, his dog began to act very strangely. The dog stared intently at a well located close to where he had parked the van. This strange behavior caught CJ off guard, and this is when things started to take a very bizarre turn for CJ.
I'm going to give it the full 24 hours, I think, to... What are you looking at? You keep freaking me out, dog. There's no one over there. Have you seen someone? I'm not. There's actually a well. Just where I'm parked, you go down this little track, and there's a well with a big metal bar on it. And originally I was going to go and park there, and I saw the well. Instantly started thinking about the ring, which when I was about, I think it was about 10 when it came out, scared the shit out of me. For like a month I didn't sleep properly, and now the dog keeps looking over in that direction of where it is. So I'm like, nah mate, I might move, but I can't.
As CJ's dog continued to stare at the well, he mentioned that there was an abandoned well nearby, sealed with a heavy metal cover. Eventually, things returned back to normal, and CJ brushed off the strange occurrences he had been witnessing. As he worked on fixing his fridge, he decided to spend the night there. However, the next day, things took a turn for the worse when CJ began hearing mysterious sounds coming from the abandoned well.
Okay, I'm seriously freaked out now. A minute ago I could hear like really loud moaning, like "Ah!" like just booming across the mountains. So I've come down to where I could hear it. Got to this old well and it stopped. But just as soon as I got here, just from over there's no track or anything, it's just wood. This girl appeared, dressed like kind of like a monk, no shoes, and no hair. So I said bonjour and that, and she responded. I asked if she was okay, but she didn't respond then, she just carried on walking. So I carried on a bit and thought I better double check. Went to go and find her again. She's gone. That way, that's where my van is, and that goes to the road. But down where she went that way, there's nothing, and there's nothing for miles. Where did she go?
After hearing mysterious noises coming from the well, CJ immediately went down to investigate the source of the noises. However, just as he approached the well, the sounds abruptly stopped. During this time, he spotted a girl dressed like a monk, barefoot and with no hair, who seemed to appear out of nowhere and walked into the woods. CJ called out to her, but she didn't respond and continued walking away into the distance. Concerned that the girl might be lost or having some type of mental trouble, he decided to follow her. However, by the time he reached the spot where she had mysteriously disappeared. Not only had the girl vanished, but there were also no footprints or signs of anyone's presence. Plus, the location where she disappeared was a relatively open area in the woods that stretched out for miles. Disturbed by what he had just witnessed, CJ decided to leave the woods. As he was walking back to his van, he saw the girl again, and this time recorded the disturbing encounter.
I have not got a clue what was going on there. That was so weird. The well, the moaning from the forest, the girl. Nah, maybe there's an explanation to it all, but I wasn't sticking around. I left, I booted it. I'm about 50 miles from there now. I saw the girl another 2 times. The last time I was near the van and she was running through the forest. I left. I was gone. I was gone so fast, I didn't even pack the van away. Yeah, it's a pretty big mess in here. But I do have a working fridge. The fridge is working. It's nice and cold now.
CJ mentioned that he saw the same girl 2 more times after filming her, and the last time he encountered her, she was running into the woods. After this encounter, CJ quickly hopped into his van and drove away without even packing all his belongings in the back. He also mentioned that his dog is typically very friendly and approaches people playfully. However, on this day, his dog seemed anxious and kept staring in the direction where the woman had gone. The identity of the girl and whether CJ's experience was paranormal remains a mystery. Many comments on his video point out that CJ's videos focus exclusively on his van life, and this is the only one of this kind and has no reason to fake his content. However, these claims regarding the paranormal are not confirmed or verified and are merely theories and speculations. Consequently, the truth about the girl continues to be an unsolved mystery.
This is seriously the weirdest forest I've ever camped in. I got back here and suddenly the tree next to me just crashes, but there's nothing in it, there's nothing there.
In October of 2023, a British YouTuber named Mike uploaded a rather bizarre video titled "The Woods I Will Never Camp In Again" on his channel Novice Wild Camper. Mike's channel is all about wild camping, with frequent videos showcasing his camping experiences in different parts of the UK. In this particular video, Mike decided to go on a solo overnight camping trip in the woods somewhere in the UK. Mike begins his video by venturing deep into the woods to find a good place to camp for the night. While exploring, he stumbles upon some peculiar footprints on the trail. He figures they must belong to a dog walker and continues on his way. After walking for a while, Mike finds a good spot and sets up his campsite. After setting up his camp, he shows his viewers the various camping gear he'd brought, and this is when he mentions hearing some strange noises nearby, but yet again he dismisses them, thinking it's just a small animal and doesn't think much of it. As the night begins to set in, Mike enjoys his dinner and decides to go to bed. However, at around 3 a.m., Mike was suddenly awakened by a series of rocks hitting the side of his tent, and this is when things take a very disturbing turn for Mike.
There's a huge amount of noises around here. Sounds like Bigfoot's throwing rocks at the hammock. I've had a couple of near misses and a couple of hits, but yeah, going for a fun night. See you in the morning. Right, I'll be honest, this is the first time I've ever done this. I'm actually sitting back in my car now. 3 o'clock, it just started hammering it down with rain. After the rain started, I could just hear crashing around that got nearer and nearer and nearer to my hammock. And every time I moved or got out to check, it stopped. But the weirdest thing was, suddenly by my hammock, massive thud hits the ground. I jumped up and there's a rock on the floor that wasn't there. And I'm just laying there listening. And then another one. This went on 3 or 4 times at least. And then a large branch hit my tarp. And every time I jumped up and got out, there was no movement, there was no nothing now. But this has completely freaked me out.
Mike mentioned that he heard rocks hitting his tent and heard some strange noises that were getting louder and louder, leading him to believe something or someone was closing in on him. However, when he went outside to investigate, the noises would suddenly stop. But as soon as he went back inside, the noises would start again. Disturbed by these bizarre encounters, he left his campsite and went back to his car. He anxiously stayed in his car until sunrise and eventually returned to his campsite. However, as he tried to make sense of what he had just witnessed, he heard the strange and mysterious noises once again.
This is seriously the weirdest forest I've ever camped in. I got back here and suddenly the tree next to me just crashes and the bushes are all shaking, but there's nothing in it, there's nothing there. It's full of creatures and animals running around. Things are just crashing down around me. It's all quiet, then suddenly it happens. I don't like it here. I'm getting packed up. I'm under my tarp, packing up my quilt, and there's this crash behind me. This doesn't land coming down. It bounces towards me. It hit the floor and was still rolling towards me. This place is freaked out. I am never coming back here again.
After hearing the strange noises for the second time, Mike, afraid for his life, immediately packed up his belongings and left the woods. On his way back to his car, he suddenly ran into someone walking near the woods, and their brief encounter quickly took a very disturbing turn.
I just got back to the car, and bearing in mind this road is like a dead-end road. No one comes down here, and for the entire night, no one had come down here. But I've come down here, and as I've stepped out of the woods, literally the entrance to go in there is just there. And there's a man just walking down the road by me, and he saw me and he went, "All right." And I was like, "All right." And he went, "You been camping in the woods?" I said, yeah, I just did a little hammock camp. And he went, you're brave. I said, why is that? And he went, people have done it before, no one's lasted. I said, what do you mean? And he just laughed and he went, you know what I mean. I walked off. But yeah, I won't pinpoint it to say avoid this place, but I'm never going to come back here again.
The man mentioned that Mike was brave to have spent the night in the woods, and when Mike asked why, he told him about the dark history of deaths there and then just walked off. The man's identity and the truthfulness of his claims remain unknown, but to be safe, Mike kept the location of the woods a secret from his viewers to avoid them from going in there. It is still unclear whether Mike's experience was paranormal or something more sinister like a serial killer lurking in the woods. However, the lack of information about the man and the woods leaves the source of Mike's strange experience a complete mystery. This right here is a YouTuber named William, who in October of 2023 uploaded a video titled "Most Scared I've Ever Been While Stealth Camping" on his channel Truesdale TV. His channel primarily focuses on outdoor exploration, and he frequently uploads footage of his stealth camping experiences in various locations across the UK. In this video, William takes things to a whole new level by stealth camping alone in a haunted forest known as Ballybully Forest. For those unfamiliar with this location, the Ballybully Forest is regarded as one of the most haunted forests in both Northern Ireland and the UK. According to the legend, Ballybully was a significant site for high-ranking priests during ancient Celtic cultures, with stone formations and trenches scattered throughout the forest. Many nearby locals steer clear of the area, and those who venture in are cautious to remain on the path because of its disturbing history of ghost sightings and mysterious disappearances. From the 15th to 17th centuries, over 30 people vanished in the forest, and even now, numerous individuals have reported seeing shadowy figures and hearing strange noises at night. In the video, William begins his exploration by venturing deep into the woods in search of a suitable camping spot. He immediately admits to his viewers that he feels a bit freaked out about spending the night in the forest. Despite this, he continues to explore and eventually finds a good spot to set up his campsite. As the night begins to set in, he prepares his dinner and decides to call it a night. However, while he was trying to go to sleep, he suddenly hears footsteps approaching his tent, and this is when things start to take a very bizarre turn for William.
Cheers, folks. Hear that? Something there? Something there?
After hearing footsteps next to his tent, William called out to whoever or whatever was outside, but he unfortunately didn't get any response. The footsteps eventually stopped and William, in a state of panic, stepped outside to investigate the source of the mysterious footsteps, but disturbingly, he found no one outside. After this strange encounter, he returned back to his tent, and as he was trying to make sense of what had just happened, something forcefully struck the side of his tent.
The f***? Did you hear that? Did you f***? It's going off, who's out there? Oh, I'm paranoid. Something like that, or like, was that me? I don't know. Wait, we have to investigate this shit. I can't sleep in here with this shit. I can get myself worked out.
After hearing something strike his tent, William, afraid for his life, called out to see who was there. When no one responded, he stepped outside his tent, but yet again found nothing outside. Having heard footsteps earlier, and now experiencing something striking his tent, William was consumed by fear and paranoia. This ultimately led him to set up a camera outside his tent to monitor his surroundings. Unfortunately for William, the camera didn't record anything unusual, making it even more disturbing for William to make sense of what he was witnessing. Despite feeling anxious, William eventually went to sleep and left the forest early in the morning, and as of the time this video was uploaded, he has not returned back to the haunted Ballybully Forest.
I think someone's outside the back. 2:30.
This right here is a YouTuber named Brendan, who in February of 2024 uploaded a video titled Scary Attack While Van Camping on his channel Brendan Explores. His channel is dedicated to outdoor exploration, and he frequently uploads footage of his stealth camping experiences while traveling across the UK in his camper van. In this particular video, Brendan chose to go stealth camping near a residential area located at Jaywick Sands Beach. Brendan begins the video by parking his van in a nearby parking area and exploring the local surroundings. However, he finds the area too strange and noisy for his liking, as he hears many bikes and cars racing around him. Therefore, he decides to drive about 30 minutes to a nearby forest. After locating a good spot to park his van, he felt satisfied with the quiet and peaceful surroundings, and it seemed like he was alone in the woods. As the night began to set in, Brendan enjoyed his dinner and decided to go to bed around 10 p.m. However, at approximately 2:30 a.m., he was suddenly awakened by the sound of footsteps outside his van. It was at this moment that Brendan encountered something truly disturbing.
Nice and quiet here. Not even a sound of a distant car. Just how I like it. It's absolutely dead quiet. I'll see you in the morning. Outside the van. Half-past 2. Someone just tried the door. Hey! Right, whoever the that was has now gone.
After hearing someone trying to unlock his side door, and then moments later witnessing the glass of his passenger side window shatter into pieces, Brendan quickly shouted at the individuals and stepped out of his van. Unfortunately, the person ran off before Brendan could confront or identify anyone. After this bizarre encounter, Brendan, without thinking twice, drove 3 hours back to his house. The next morning, Brendan gave a detailed update to his viewers and mentioned that the individual who attempted to break into his car likely saw his fridge sitting on the passenger seat. When they failed to unlock the doors, they broke the glass window in an effort to steal the fridge, or even the van itself. However, when they heard Brendan shout and realized someone was inside the van, they quickly fled back to their own cars. Despite his van being damaged, Brendan was fortunately unharmed during the break-in and managed to safely make it back home. He later mentioned that out of the hundreds of camping trips he has taken, this was the most scared he has ever been. However, he also stated that he wouldn't let this disturbing encounter stop him from camping in the future. In May of 2008, a rather disturbing video was uploaded to a YouTube channel called Big Q. The footage shows a group of teenagers camping in the woods, laughing and enjoying themselves near a bonfire. During this time, one of the teenagers started recording as they placed a bottle on top of the fire to see what would happen. As the group moved back from the fire, they watched the bottle carefully while the camera kept on recording. It was at that moment that the camera recorded something strange moving behind one of the trees.
Is it loud?
No, it's just big. That's what she said. Here, you put it in.
What if it falls? We're screwed.
Hey!
That's,
Start up right away!
It'll take not too long. Right in the center, see that?
Okay.
Hey, hold on for a second, put it in. Tell us all when you are.
Okay, you ready?
Is it gonna light the couch on fire?
No, it shoots up.
Okay, put it in. My phone's almost dead.
Okay.
It's hot, perfect though. It'll take a minute. It'll start. No! Don't you dare do that.
Suck, is it just leaking out the bottom?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, it's hot enough to leak out the bottom?
It's not leaking out the bottom, is it?
It's all probably.
It's going. Got the
Oh, it
sleeves?
hasn't blown up yet, has it?
No.
Oh, there it goes.
It's gonna go. Put the lid on it. Oh!
Yeah!
Yeah!
If you look closely at the footage right before the big explosion, you can clearly see something or someone dressed in all white moving behind the trees. Disturbingly, none of the teenagers noticed this, as their full attention was on the burning bottle. It wasn't until they returned home and reviewed the footage that they spotted the figure walking through the trees. It's still unclear what this white figure was, but many comments on the video mention that the thing moving behind the trees could have been Bigfoot. However, it's very unlikely that the teenagers actually encountered Bigfoot. Based on the tall, white appearance, it's more probable that they saw another camper walking through the woods.